Hello friends, welcome back to Cosmopolitan Cornbread. My name is Constance. So in my previous video I went out to the garden and I picked with my granddaughter gobs of peppers. So today I'm working on these, and the first ones that I'm working on are my beautiful homegrown organic poblano peppers. Mr. Smith is actually going to smoke these for me. I think, well, my friend Heather suggested it because I was like, I don't know what I should do with these poblanos. She's like, oh, you should smoke them. She's like, smoke them and dry them and then grind them up for your chili and stuff. I'm like, ooh, that is a good idea, because Mr. Smith just got a brand new smoker. So I have requested that Mr. Smith turn on or get the smoker going, and he was happy to oblige. So I'm just going to cut all of these poblanos in half and pull out the seeds, and then they will be ready to go into the smoker. Alright, so I've got the poblanos ready, and I've got them in my little smoker basket right here. So Mr. Smith is getting the smoker going. It'll be ready in just a few minutes. And then we can take these out there, smoke them, and then when they're all done, I will dehydrate them and grind them up. Alright friends, so now it is time to work on the jalapenos. I'm making jalapeno jelly, and for that I'm going to need 12 ounces of jalapenos. And so I'm cutting off the stems, I'm removing the seeds, and then I'm going to be putting all the jalapenos into this bowl here, which I've already weighed with my kitchen scale. And so that way I can keep track of how much I've got, and I'll just keep seeding or de-seeding these jalapenos until I've got 12 ounces. And I do try to get all of the seeds, if possible, out of, actually that one's kind of small. I don't think I need to chop that one. Out of the peppers, because that's where all of your heat is. I love the flavor of jalapeno. I'm a wimp when it comes to heat. So I am just going to be very carefully getting all these seeds out. Alright y'all, so I've got all of my jalapeno peppers here de-seeded, and I got most of the seeds out. There may still be a random seed here and there, but I did my very best to get it as seed-free as possible. So it was 12 ounces of jalapenos, and then I've got 2 cups of apple cider vinegar. And now I'm going to puree the jalapenos with the vinegar, so that I've got some liquid in there so that I can get them all pureed up. because of course you can't blend stuff up without some sort of liquid. Now of course you can do this in a food processor, whatever you've got. I just didn't feel like digging all that stuff out. I already had my little mini blender out, and so I'm just going to go ahead and use this. I'm adding about half a cup or so in there. I've got almost half of the peppers, and we're just going to give them a buzz. There we go. And into my stainless steel pot that I have here on the stove. Ooh, ooh, the spicy. And there we go. So I've got my beautiful green cheerful jalapeno puree and vinegar in there. Now I'm going to add in the sugar. 6 cups of granulated sugar. I'm going to need 2 pouches of liquid pectin. And of course you can do this with powdered pectin. You would just have to do the little conversion on how to do that, which is mainly just the timing of it. I have an article on my website that explains that. So let me get this ready. I just like to set my pouches in a measuring cup here to hold them up. And I just go ahead and cut the pouch open so that it is ready when I need it. Alright, so I'm bringing the mixture up to a boil now. I've got all of my canning supplies over here. I've got the tongs, my damp cloth, my little dish of vinegar. I've got my canning lids over there in my dish. I'll fill that with hot water when I'm just about to start jarring these up. Got my rings, got my bubble wand remover, which is a chopstick, my little wand for grabbing my hot lids, and my cloth, my funnel, got my pectin sitting here ready to go, and a ½ teaspoon of butter. And you can hear my tea kettle over there heating up with the water for the lids. So we are going to bring this up to a boil, and we're going to let it boil for 10 minutes. So once the boiling starts, we'll set our timer, and then we'll be ready for the next step. Now just a note, of course, as you can see, that lime sherbet color has faded, and now we've got kind of an olivey color. Now if you want your jalapeno jelly to have a bright green color, you can add a little bit of green food coloring to it. You would add that when we do the pectin, but I'm just not a huge fan of food coloring, even natural food coloring, to be quite honest, so I have no problem just omitting that. But if you do want that kind of classic green color, you can of course do that. I'll put all of these details on my website where I put the printable version of this recipe so that you can check that out if you would like. Alright, so this has been boiling for 10 minutes. Now I'm adding in my pectin with a giggling bean back over there behind me. So we're going to add this in, and again it's 2 packets of the liquid pectin. And at this time I'm also going to add in my ½ teaspoon of butter. This is optional. You don't have to add that if you don't want to, but it helps keep the jelly from foaming up, and then you don't have to skim the foam off the top, because as soon as it stops boiling, there's pretty much no bubbles at all. So we're going to get these in here, and then we're going to boil hard again for a full minute, and then we'll test we'll test to make sure it has gelled. All right, so I've got one of my cold spoons out of the freezer. I'm just going to take some of this and drip it on there. Give it a second. See if it gels up. I'm going to give it just a little bit longer. It gelled, but it could have gelled a little bit better. So when that happens, I usually just give it another 30 seconds to a minute. And again, boiling hard, and then I test it again. Oh yeah, that gelled up real good. So I'm going to grab a hot jar over here, and then I'm going to grab a second jar. We'll slide this over just a little bit closer. There we go. And we're going to start ladling the jelly in. And the head space for this is 1/4 of an inch. And again, head space is the distance from the top of the contents to the top edge of the jar. But I usually like to give it a little bit extra for sticky things. It's just me. So I'm usually a little, ooh, that's hot, a little generous, and make it closer to like a 1/2 inch. All right, I'm gonna grab my bubble wand, give it a stir. Take my cloth here, dipped in some white vinegar. Make sure there's no residue on the top of that jar there. Grab a lid and a ring. And into the canner. Pull out the next one. right, so I actually ended up getting 7 half pints of the jalapeno jelly. And so I'm going to let my steam canner come up to temperature using the gauge here, which I have a whole video about this. I'll put a link down below if you would like to watch that. And then the processing time for the jalapeno jelly, whether you are doing it in a steam canner like this or in a hot water bath canner, both of these are for high acid processing. The processing time is 10 minutes. And of course you will have to adjust that for your elevation. And I have an article about that on my website where you can learn all about it as well. All right, the timer just went off, so I'm gonna turn off the stove. And with the steam canner, I'm gonna leave the lid on, let it rest for about 5 minutes, then I'll take it off and remove the jars. If you are doing this in a hot water bath canner, you would take off the lid now and let them rest for 5 minutes before taking them out. All right, and now these will rest overnight. Tomorrow I will remove the rings, test the seals, wash and label the jars, and put them away in the pantry. Hey friends, so the past couple of years you may have noticed that just about every time you see me canning something, I'm using Superb canning lids. I discovered these a couple of years ago and I immediately fell in love with them. They are my favorite canning lids. They are super durable. They feel more substantial than any other canning lid I've ever used. When they pop into place and you hear that wonderful tink sound, it's more significant, it's louder than any other canning lid. And same thing when you open it, it's a nice loud pop, so you know you had a great seal. And these are basically the only lids I have bought ever since I started using them. As a matter of fact, for my March Canning Madness giveaways that I've been doing every year, these are the lids that I give away. I give away several boxes of these, and they were not sponsored, they were not donated, I bought them with my own money. I love these lids. And not only are they great quality, but they are American owned and they're American made. You're not going to see an American flag saying American owned and then you look closer at the box and see it was actually made in China. American owned, American made, great quality. They are BPA free, designed to not buckle when you are pressure canning like some cheap lids do. And the family who designed these and makes these here in America, their mission is to be the very, very best at what they do. And they are continually seeking ways to make these great lids even better. So if you would like to get some Superb canning lids, you can click the link in my video description down below and you can get 20% off your purchase using my discount code Cornbread20.